Davis, and I'm here to talk about my Human Service Counseling 511 project for my group leading project. So I did a group. It was a group for single mothers. I did it on Saturday, April 27th, and it was from 10 to 12. I had 5 single mothers. I was originally supposed to have 12, but I had some not show up. Ironically, one of the single mothers told me that they couldn't show up because they didn't have childcare. So we talked about that later in the group. So in the initial stage of the group, I introduced myself. I made sure I gave a welcome to everyone that was in the group. And I just broke down a couple of ground rules, like, for example, that I would acknowledge the speakers just to make sure that we kept everything in control. I just wanted everybody to make sure they felt comfortable. I made sure that everybody knew that I was not responsible for the confidentiality that happened in the group, but I encouraged that the confidentiality stayed in the group. And I also wanted to make sure that everybody had a nice, comfortable environment. And I asked if anybody had any questions on things that I forgot or things that would make them feel more comfortable. So as everybody was comfortable with the ground rules, I just kept going with the initial stage. So what I did at first is I did a dyad. So I did a speed dating dyad, which was that we rotated for 4 minutes to who we talked to. Now my plan, it was originally supposed to be 2 minutes because I had more people, but since I only had 5 people show up, I did 4 minutes and I actually joined into the dyad. So when I joined into the dyad, I got a chance to talk to all the ladies individually, and I asked, well, what was the one thing that you wanted to come out of the group with? And each lady told me, so we went back and we did a round. So based on the round I did a word phrase round, but instead of the word phrase, I actually asked them to elaborate into a sentence. So ironically, each of the ladies said the same sentence that it said to me in the round about what they wanted to do in the group. So one of the things that I noticed with kind of scanning with my eyes around the group is I noticed that during that round, someone rolled their eyes. So I let the round finish and I went back to the lady and I said, well, I noticed you rolled your eyes. What happened? Or what was going on through your head? So she alluded that she thought that one of the group members kind of alluded to something passively that they talked about during their dyad. The other group member just elaborated. She said, well, I did feel away at first, but now I don't feel quite away at all now that I thought about it, and I thought it would be interesting to talk about in the group. So I made sure that no one else had any other conflicts. No one else did. So I was like, okay, let's take a 5-minute break for processing. Just so they could process what was going on during the round, and we can get ready to go into the working stage. So as I watched them just kind of mingle around and talk as they probably were processing, I noticed that the same two that had the conflict over in the corner talking. So the one that rolled her eyes went up to the other one and it seemed like she was apologizing. And then next thing you know, they laughed. So they came back to the group and I asked, so what were you guys laughing about? So the lady said that, well, I just went over to apologize. And the other lady said, and I cracked a joke. And she told what the joke was, which is a pretty personal joke, so I won't tell you here. And everybody started laughing, and it kind of gave me a sense of cohesion. So I felt comfortable moving on to the working stage. So in the working stage, what I did was we actually went based on what all the ladies told me, and we talked about different subjects. So what happened was I ended up actually doing 2 sets of links. So the first link I did was actually with 2 people that didn't have time to date or didn't have time for their child. So I let them kind of process within themselves what kind of things they could have done differently or could do differently. And they pretty much both came up to a consensus of time management. If they managed their time a little bit better, then they probably would have more time with their kids and probably even more time to date. So the second linking that I did was based on the fact that they were having trouble dating. And the trouble dating was that they had multiple kids. Like each of these ladies had 3 kids. So I let them do the same thing. I let them talk out like, well, why exactly do you think you're having a hard time dating? And one of the ladies actually gave a pretty derogatory comment about men, which wasn't very nice. So I had to cut her off. I said, now hold on, that's an opinion. So we can't issue opinions like that, especially if we don't know they're true. So it kind of got a little out of hand. She's like, well, you're probably saying that because you're a man. No, it's true. I said, now hold on. Now I have to cut you off because that is not necessarily true. And whether I agree with your opinion or not, it doesn't matter. We can't just go around and talk about that in the group. That's something I read in Jacob's also, that you had to cut off people before they gave their opinions and kind of excited the group. So after that linking exercise, one of the ladies a part of that link with the multiple kids that couldn't date said that she also felt that her self-esteem was shot. So what I did was I decided to do a role play since I was the only man in the room. I decided to do a role play, and we just talked back and forth. I asked her certain questions, and she replied back, and she felt like she had some sort of momentum to even try dating again or be more open to what a man is saying to her. So I thought that was pretty much progress with her as far as what she could take outside of the group. So after that, we talked about a couple more topics. I kind of just let the flow of the conversation go generically. When the conversation kind of died down, I added some content. I added a stat that I saw online that said that there were 300% more single mothers today than there are in 1960. So once again, we talked about men, and this time it wasn't so much a derogatory thing, but more about their experience. So as that conversation died down, there was about 15, 20 minutes left in the group, and I didn't want to re-energize the conversation again by bringing up an activity or bringing up another topic. So I decided just to say, okay, let's take a 5-minute break and process, and then we'll come back and we'll close out. So they took a 5-minute break, and we all came back. And I went around the room again in one more round, just saying, okay, just give me one more sentence to say what you guys learned as far as the group, or what would you guys take out of the group. And the first person said, well, I'll take out of the group that my perspective is different from everybody else's, because I learned a new perspective just being in the group talking to single mothers. Just so happens that everybody else agreed with the same thing. So we had a small conversation about the perspectives and what they learned differently as far as, income and dating and things like that. And then in the group, I thanked everybody for their time, reminded them about the confidentiality about the group, and we dismissed. So as a self-assessment, what I think I could have done better is I probably could have planned a couple more activities just to make sure I filled up the 2 hours. I thought that, I could have had more time to plan these activities, but the time went wasted. I also thought I did a good job in actually controlling the group when I did that cutoff. I thought it was very key that I did the cutoff, because I noticed the energy starting to change, and I didn't want the whole group to talk about, men and pretty much trash talking men. Also did a good job in just controlling the tone and just making sure that we had a comfortable tone within the group to make sure that everybody was comfortable talking. So my final thought is actually the benefits of groups, which comes from Proverbs 27:17, which says, as iron sharpens iron, so does another person sharpen another. So this shows me that groups are very beneficial. If we all get into a group with common interests and goals, we can help make each other better. So I enjoy being a group leader. I look forward to doing it again, and I'm thankful for this project, and I thank you for your time.